you believe that we started recording right in the middle of 2020 with all of the COVID and lockdowns going on around us, unable to meet up? So like many a young gentleman, we turned to the internet for our entertainment. Tried to find a place where we could meet up and talk about the good, the bad, and that time that Stu saw a pelican on the canal. In order to facilitate our dreams of answering all of the big questions in film, and after a few attempts at recording via other methods to various levels of success, we found Zencastr, a super easy web-based one-stop shop for recording. Log in and you're ready to record in a matter of seconds. It doesn't take a tech genius to get high quality audio or video. And on top of that, the one time we have had an issue, the fact that the multi-layered backups are stored locally means it's easily fixed all in browser. There are plenty of tools you need when you start podcasting, so let Zencastr take that headache away as it offers a place to record, edit and distribute all from one website. Any lazy bones Jones can pick up and play and have studio quality audio or 4K video put out for the world to see when using Zencastr. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code CAGEFIGHTING and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same easy experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. And now, hit the music. Hello and welcome to Cage Fighting. It's your main man Andy Gillard here. Hope you're all doing well in the world right now.
Champion.
Yo.
Literally mere seconds after lifting that trophy, we're recording this for spoilers. So if the jubilation comes through the airwaves, that's why. Fucking glorious.
It was great. Like we were chatting very briefly before the podcast, it felt like the most English way to have won anything. Proper backs against the wall. At any moment we were going to let it slip, but we somehow hung on, and then it obviously going all the way to penalties. It was, I really enjoyed that. Like, it'd been a solid enough tournament. The bits and bobs that I've caught throughout, it's been enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, as someone without actual football other than the Club World Cup, which only a few of us watched. But yeah, it was. I mean, I was literally sitting on the edge of the sofa with my head in my hands watching that penalty shootout, and I thought, I don't know why I'm this involved in this. It's kind of got hold of me again, like it did 2 years ago with the World Cup. Besides, I said on Twitter though, it's anything England related, Rugby World Cup, Six Nations, stuff that you don't really care about anyway most of the time. It's England, so it counts.
Yeah, I'll never be like, I'll never not want to see an English team do well. Like, not an English team, like I don't want to see fucking Liverpool win anything. Europe. Like, I mean, a team that represents England, I kind of want to see them win. I'm never going to, even if it's like cricket, and I couldn't give a shit about cricket. But if they win the World Cup, great, I'm all in for it.
Yeah, exactly. Bring national pride for a change. So we could watch that without having to put our details in. Topical.
I was on Twitter /X.
Yeah, you was on Twitter, was you? No, nothing else.
No. So on Twitter, like somebody tweeted some bollocks about a film, and the replies, some of the people replying, it was saying, due to changes in local law, we've hid this profile till we can verify your age. And I clicked into it, and it looked like it was some kind of OnlyFans related Twitter account. So even on Twitter,
yeah,
like they're blocking accounts from, like, what the fuck is going on? This is ridiculous. Like, they're going to end up banning Nick Cage films at some point. I mean, we have to like verify ourselves to watch some of this shit.
Well, it's like people already saying all the protests and stuff against the boat people, which is a different story altogether. But still, they're using this legislation to block that on Twitter unless you've got a VPN to show you it. And so again, it's kind of censorship by the back door. Has everyone said this exact thing would happen, and it
Yeah,
has?
I'm sure we had this conversation 2 years ago, was it, when it was supposed to?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I got caught out on the hamster. It was at the top. Obviously better than Pornhub. I've said this before many times. Uh, but yeah, it was there, and there was I thought, I wonder what actually happens on the day. So I went on there, and it was a whole thing of like it scanned your face. Have you seen it on Push Square today that people are using photo mode in Death Stranding 2 to use Norman Reedus? Isn't it tells you to like to smile and then to do expressions, and you can obviously make him do that in photo mode. So all the Gooner kids are going on there and using Norman Reedus. So he's Pornhub like 20,000 times.
fucking hell. So I assume that because like even stuff from what I've been hearing, like Reddit,
Yeah.
Reddit stuff about wine and gambling and stuff that you can only do if you're over 18, that is effectively going to be banned as well.
Yeah.
So is this just a case of we're going to have to be 24/7 VPN?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I am on my phone anyway most of the time because
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to hide, but you can't trust anything either.
No,
Uh,
we're not hiding it. It's just that you can't trust other people to not try and skim your shit, can you?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, when I went phone bareback just to see what had happened, and it was yeah, it's like the internet doesn't exist anymore. It's like it's been deleted, taken away. It's mental
Horrendous.
for a
Horrendous.
country.
Yeah.
We're fucking champions again, so that's all that counts.
It's all that matters, isn't it? All that matters. Stu, big film release on Friday just gone. Pedro with his. So last week I got to see 2 Pedro films in the space of like 2 days. I got to see Materialists, which is out, I think, on the 12th, 12th of August, I believe. Really good film. You didn't go and see it, did you, for the
No.
unlimited screening? Excellent movie. I think if you're a fan of, it's either, I think it might be the 8th. Sorry, it's released. Obviously, as a fan of Celine Song's past lives, it very much had that vibe. The main character being Dakota Johnson, she's a very imperfect person. I think kind of like Greta Lee was in past lives. Like she's not the most identifiable with, but I think that made it quite an interesting story. Pedro's tremendous in it. I kind of forget that Chris Evans can act. Like it's been such a long time since we've seen him do anything other than corporate slop that it was kind of nice to see him being this sympathetic baby face, like a bit of an underdog in the tale. It was really cool. Really glad to see. I think because you're a fan of past lives, I do think you'll enjoy this as well when you eventually get round to it.
It was on my list anyway, regardless of just the Pedro factor. But I was just looking at Chris Evans because I saw him in something pretty recently. He was good in Red One as well. I know you didn't watch Red One last year. Wait till Christmas and watch it properly. Ghosted. Yeah, he was good in Ghosted.
Okay, I didn't see that. I remember reading about it, and it was like the worst film of the year for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I never bothered. It didn't appeal to me anyway. Reading it, and then all the reviews, I'm like, I'm probably going to give that a miss. Is it Anna de Armas in that one?
Yeah.
That'll be why you watched it then.
Yeah, no need for the hamster that day. Yeah, it was a decent. It was very much in the kind of Netflixy TV action film genre.
Okay, right.
So you know what you're getting when you go into it. I'm sure I talked about it on here at the time. But he had a good time with that. He was fun. He wasn't just playing Cap and being boring. He was having a good time in that. So a bit like he was in Knives Out.
Yeah. Like I feel for me that's probably his high watermark personally. Because everything else, they're all sort of versions of Captain America. Even in Scott Pilgrim, he's playing an arsehole version of Cap almost. So
Yes.
Yeah.
He's in Free Guy as himself.
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't even remember it. Like it's been scrubbed from my memory banks, that film has at this point. The other big Pedro film, Fantastic Four. Stu, was it fantastic? That's the answer there. I think. Yeah.
I think Okay, not it's not a spoiler because it's been months now. You've had your chance. My problem with it was, and I said at the time that this is probably on me. I was expecting it to tie into the after credit scene in Thunderbolts, which was them looking when they confirmed as the new Avengers, which they are in the Blu-ray anyway. Before we've even watched the fucking thing, so it makes no difference.
Yeah.
Now. And at the end of that, in the end credit scene of that, is them looking out, and the Fantastic Four ship is coming into view. Like, what is that? So I just presumed, I mean, silly of me, to presume that the end of Fantastic Four would then be transported into Earth, wherever it is in the MCU, and that would then lead up to Doomsday, which it didn't at all. And then it said at the end of this that they'll be back in Doomsday. So you've got a whole setup of Doomsday where they've now got to transfer from Earth, wherever, to the MCU Earth. So that's another thing that's got to happen in that film that's already about 3.5 hours long. So that was like a kind of nitpicky thing that I thought that was going to happen, and there was plenty of chances for that to happen because of all the wormholes and all the techie stuff and chances of jumping through portals and things. And the fact that it didn't happen, I was kind of, oh, okay. But they set that up. They released these films in order. I watched them in order for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, well, okay, that doesn't make any sense. But when I've calmed down a bit, taking it as it was fine. I didn't hate it. I had a good time, mostly. Like I said to you, it could have just been called Parenthood the movie. And
Like,
the power of mother defeats all sentient beings of all kinds. And I laughed when they were like force pushing him back into again.
Yeah.
When they were force pushing him back, I started giggling to myself that this is ridiculous now. Regardless of the size issues and everything else, you can't go from being the most powerful thing in the entire world ever to then being beaten by a mom. It's fucking stupid.
It was pure mom strength pushing him through, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a bit corny, and Fantastic Four are corny. So like, I don't fully dismiss it on those bases, but like, it's the most 3 out of 5 film you're gonna see.
Yeah,
It's proper middle. It's just a film that I have seen this year. Instantly forgettable. As somebody who hasn't seen any Marvel films since Guardians 3, so is that 2022, was it, Stu? Is it 3 years?
No, it can't be that long ago, surely.
Let's have a quick Google while we're doing it. But obviously, that was the last one that I saw, Guardians of the Galaxy, 2023, so it's been 2 years.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Since I've seen anything Marvel related. And at no point in this film did I feel like I've missed anything about this world. Like, that, I mean, I was just like, this is just exactly the same reasons why I stopped watching them in the first place.
This is the only one, because I was trying to explain to Goldie about this, that like Black Widow was good. I like Black Widow, even though I didn't think I would. But the Thunderbolts made Black Widow relevant, because beforehand it was like, okay, why do we need this story from someone who's actually dead in the timeline? But I think when you actually finally bow down and watch Thunderbolts, you'll actually really enjoy yourself with it. And I was saying, like, this is the first one for a while that you don't actually need any knowledge of, because you could just go in and just, here you go. This is a fun, silly film in its own right, and all the Mole Man stuff and all of the silly kind of comic book villains the expected comic book villains from the comic book world, that they're the silly ones in this film. Like, yeah, the world just put it in a montage. It doesn't matter. And it's all relevant in this world. It's all quirky. And I thought, actually, I kind of agree with Commode on that the world itself was class.
Yeah.
And
the set designs and all of that, I really liked, because it was 60s, but not our 60s. It was like, it was our 60s if our 60s were the 2000s.
Yeah, it was jets. It's proper jets and stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
And
I liked that.
Like, even like when he took the little robot thing, when he took the tape out from home into space, Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Great idea.
I agree. I completely agree. I think visually, I think the set was amazing because it looked like nothing else we've seen from any Marvel film. I appreciated that. I think the sad reality was that the characters were just a bit boring. Everyone was acting perfectly adequately. Like nobody was bad. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Joseph Quinn. I don't know what it is about him. I just find him a little bit sad. No, safe's not even the right word. He just feels very bland. Like he doesn't really excel in most of his roles. And I didn't think he did much in this film that made me want to see anything of Johnny Storm. But I just felt like all of them were very much we're a character, and this is us at the beginning, this is us in the middle, this is us at the end, and it's exactly the same character. There's no arc for any of them. Like, I don't
Yeah.
feel any of the characters grew or expanded, or the events of the film made them better people. And it just,
Well,
like Superman, I feel like Superman, every one of the characters was changed by the events of that week. Whereas this, it was nothing. It felt so filler, this movie did.
I mean, someone expanded beyond their realm, literally. but but I know what you mean. But it was kind of it was a proper. We're going to drop into these people's lives for a couple of days and then drop out again, and nothing really happened. But I guess because you already are dropping in where they've already got the powers, we don't need another origin story, which was the right way to do it. For me.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't need to do that again. And like we said about Superman last week, like he doesn't treat people like idiots. Like everyone knows what these people are. You've got enough background story here throughout the film to kind of piece it together if you don't know somehow. And it does kind of link it in. And I thought the Silver Surfer stuff was really good, actually.
I think she was the highlight of the film.
Yeah,
Because like the last time we had Silver Surfer, it was dog shit. Like I don't think the original Fantastic Four films were good movies. I think they might be better than these, but I think the representation of Silver Surfer was much more interesting in this one. Like you felt Shalabal's pain and anger and resentment. You never got that with the original one, so I think they did a good job with that.
was that motion capture as well? I'm guessing so.
I think it was, yeah, I think it was.
Because that was exceptional motion capture if it was just that. Because even like the little tear at the one point, and the we can get onto the CG in a minute, but I thought she was exceptional.
Yeah.
There's the whole thing about it, like the money was well spent with that whole thing and the running gag about the surfboard. I did laugh at that.
Yeah.
But it's a typical MCU gag. Like you just keep it running. It blends in perfectly well. And I think Johnny Storm, you're probably right. Johnny Storm could have been played by anyone.
He was the weak point of the main 6 characters, I think.
Yeah, he could have been played by Lee Mack, and there'd be no difference.
Yeah, which is not a good thing, is it?
Yeah. So the American friends, look that up. I'm guessing that Lee Mack has never broken America. But yeah. Funnily enough, talking about that, I was when I was in the Tiger on Friday, someone came up to me and said, "Oh, you do a football thing, don't you?" I went, "What do you mean?" He went, "Oh, on YouTube." He said, I went, "Oh, okay, yeah." He said, "Yeah, I'm just over visiting family. I live in Cambodia."
What?
Yeah. So he watches Fancast from Cambodia. So if you're listening, Brett, hello.
Amazing.
Yeah, another one in from that side of the world to our Indian friends. But yeah, Johnny Storm was pointless. I thought she was okay, but she's not generally all right in most things I see her in.
Kirby, yeah, I really like Vanessa Kirby in pretty much everything, and she was fine in this. I kind of feel like both her and Pedro were acting in a melodrama at times, so that they were probably acting on a different level to everyone else. Eben's voice work I thought was solid throughout. No argument. I thought the Thing looked pretty good. I didn't really have too many issues with the visuals on him. Ralph Ineson's voice acting's good. I did have an issue with Galactus because, like, we'd see him one part and he was 1 billion foot tall, and then we'd see him in the next one and he's like as big as 2 houses. Like, the scaling of the character was so hit and miss throughout this film. It was all over the place, and it made it quite difficult to follow in parts, I felt, because it made no sense from one scene to the next.
And it's like I said, obviously how he walked through New York, it was very Godzilla-like. But when he was putting when the foot went down, it was proper like Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Like levels of jank. Like, why?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's one issue I've had. I think I've had it with Marvel for a while, to be honest. But in this, any action, even like you say, putting a foot down, any of the fight scenes, there's no heft, there's no weight between any of the physicality in the movie. Everything looks like it's just an animated nothing. Like, he puts his foot down and there should be a bit of an indent from where he puts it, and there's none of it. And it's exactly the same when you see people fighting. It all looks so lightweight. There's no impact whatsoever. And I feel like that sort of seeps through outside of the action. I think that then makes the drama feel kind of lightweight as well.
Especially when what we talked about last week about the destruction of Metropolis and how they nailed that. And they did the same thing with it, evacuating the city again. They got round it that way, same way. But nothing got broken. There was a few buildings got a bit smashed up, but nothing. When you see someone like, I thought when he looked at the Empire State, not the Empire State, the Statue of Liberty, that was quite funny.
Yeah.
So there was good parts in it, and I don't hate this film, but it's very Shang-Chi in the ratings for me, in that kind of bracket.
Yeah. This feels utterly forgettable.
But
it's not made me interested in coming back and watching any more Marvel stuff.
Just watch fucking Thunderbolts and get it done with, and then enjoy yourself again, because that film has got no issues whatsoever. But the CG baby.
Oh yeah, that CG baby
looked
worse than looked worse than Baby Joey, who was a green alien child. Like, the green alien child looked more human than this baby. Just horrific, wasn't it?
Every shot. I mean, like when Ben was holding it, and you think, okay, fine, yeah, you've got a bit of. And I've been watching a lot of Corridor Crew this week as well, because I've catching up on, because there's some of them where I've watched them and then they've talked about a film that I haven't seen, like that one Elysium. I'd never seen Elysium until this.
Okay, yeah.
Which surprisingly good.
Matt Damon, is that the
yeah. Surprisingly good film. So are we catching up on them, and they do like rotoscoping and how these things are like edited out and stuff. And I thought, okay, you got CG motion capture on Ebon doing the thing, which is whatever. But then you're not doing motion capture on him holding a baby, because obviously his form is bigger. So that's been added afterwards, and it just didn't look right at all. Let alone the proportions of the baby super villain evil thing itself, or wherever it's going to be. You know what a baby looks like. That is not what a baby looks like, even a super baby, and it just took everything out of it. And you think, well, it's 2025. We could have dinosaurs properly, and we could have everything working. You can have people replaced and not even know about it, and yet you've done this, and it looks shit.
Yeah, it really did. Another thing that pissed me off, Stu, while I remember, Natasha Lyonne was in this film. I love her. I think she's brilliant. I'm a big fan of Poker Face. And she was in it for all of 30 seconds. And because she was the teacher who went and spoke to Ben, and then Ben went into the church.
The one with the bouffant hair.
The red head.
Yeah.
I love Natasha Lyonne. Why you tease me with Natasha Lyonne? Give me like 30 seconds, and then, like, if this world is going to end, which it seems like it probably is, what was the point in any of that? Whereas when you look at compared to Superman, so Perry White, for example, You give me a bit of Wendell Pierce, and you're like, oh, I want more of that. Like, you've given me enough that you've whetted my appetite. You didn't do that with Natasha Lyonne. You didn't make me want more. You want me to just drop that fucking storyline and move on because it was utterly pointless. Like, I feel like they did such a bad job with her and with Paul Walterhauser as Mole Man.
Mole
And
Man, yeah.
I liked his bits, but they were just utterly pointless. And it was just purely there. Obviously, it was very expositional. Like, oh, we need someone for this one bit in this film, so let's just backtrack. Well, we know we need to do the evacuation. We need someone for that part of it. So we've got that part set in stone. How do we get there? It wasn't a case of these are the actions of that character that lead us here. It was we need to get here. So how do we get there and work backwards? I think it's such a waste. I'd rather have had a film about the Fantastic Four versus Mole Man and some of the silly 60s, 70s versions of their bad guys than what they gave us in the end in this.
But that's what I thought.
Fun and silly, but nah.
That's what I thought we were going to get. And we kind of did or we kind of didn't. It just felt very... I mean, it's obviously not as shit as Quantumania because that's the dirt worst.
It's impossible to be that bad, I think.
Even after, I'll have to admit, after watching Eternals again, because I had to, it's not as bad as I first thought it was. It's nowhere near as bad as Quantumania. That thing is terrible beyond belief. It's, I think Josh, our good mate Josh said it was 11 out of 37 for him. It's a bit high for me. I'd put it round about
Eternals or Quantumania?
No, this Fantastic Four.
Oh, yeah. Right,
okay. I think it's probably round about. I haven't done it for a while, but at 37 films, it's probably round about 24, 25-ish. It was fine. It was enjoyable.
It's bottom tier. It's
It's no more than a 7, and that's in the Marvel exaggeration terms. It's no more than a 7 at all. And I think on IMDb I put 6 on the rating when I went on there.
That's fair.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I had a good time. It was under 2 hours, so we didn't waste my entire night.
That helped.
But it was just disappointing from... I mean, I kind of got drawn in with the hype. And it's made more than Superman. Of course it has. So there's no point even moaning, is there?
Well, it probably will. I think Superman is hitting 500 mil this weekend. This is in for like 120. For opening weekend, it's done very well.
Yeah.
So it probably will, but we've spoke before, like the MCU is the draw at this point. People watch it just because it's part of a series of films, which I hate that now. I very much don't want these franchises to just dominate cinema. It's kind of strangling everything else. Nothing else gets much breathing room when stuff like this is out.
And I think it will be... I mean, when Secret Wars is over and this is finished, which is said by the way they're talking, it is going to be completely finished, and then it'll be soft rebooted a few years afterwards, where the timelines are all converged. And that's what Feige said himself, so it's no spoilers for anyone, and he's been talking openly about it, which is what he was in the comics as well, apparently. But yeah, just to update people on my my hatred of Ironheart. I watched the end. I don't know how you and Ash kept that from me. That old Sasha was in it.
Bit of Ali G to end it off, yeah.
But he was actually really good in it. He was the best part of the entire series. And them last 3 episodes kind of redeemed it for me. From being... I hated it, as everyone knows, I hated it. And as soon as it went a bit mystical, and you had the whole thing of you can only have... is the mystical blocking the science. And I thought, oh, this is an interesting concept. This is different. We've never had this before. And then he comes in with all his world-bending stuff, and that, he's been whispering in people's ears like worm tongue. Okay, interesting. So I kind of I enjoyed the end of it more than the start, which is never the way these things go.
Yeah.
So yeah, fair enough. Fair play to it. It actually wasn't awful in the end.
Okay.
But yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen was playing it straight as well. which is he can actually do that sometimes. But yeah,
He does have, yeah, he does have some chops when it comes to acting, to be fair to him. I think he's kind of underrated as a dramatic actor because he's obviously so well versed in the comedic world that when he does step into something a little bit more serious, I think people overlook him. But no,
well,
he's a good actor.
we mentioned that about that the trial of what was it called?
The Trials of Chicago 7.
Yeah, that when he was in that, and he was really good in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I know we're going to do like an episode in a month or so's time where we'll be talking about the summer, what we think of it overall. Have you watched Squid Game season 3 yet?
No, not yet.
I'm just about to start the last episode. I've been so disappointed with this. Like the fall off between season 1 to see. It feels wrong saying season 3 because this is just the second half of the first season. I've been disappointed, so we need to have a chat about that when we get there, Stu.
Yeah. Well, I haven't even watched 2 because I knew that this was split in half.
Hmm.
So I just waited.
Yeah. It ends very, very much on a cliffhanger, season 2 does. And season 3 picks up halfway through the Squid Game. So it was designed to be one season split in 2, but they're calling it season 2 and 3. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been disappointed, so I'm intrigued to see what you're going to say about it when you get there. Anyway, right, what was the film we watched again? The Boy in Blue Shoe. So this is Nicolas Cage. What year are we looking at? Right, pull up the notes. It would help, wouldn't it? 1986, The Boy in Blue. It's a Canadian drama film, and it is about a scholar, Ned Hanlon, who is also a bit of a rogue. We're very much in the territory in the 80s where it looks like a lot of these Nick Cage films are just complete unknowns. Like a lot of these things didn't really cut through, especially into our world. Obviously, we'd have been quite young at that point, but I don't feel like a lot of them had much of a legacy until probably the second half of the 80s at least, I think. I think you're looking at probably something like, I feel like this might be the line, because then we've got Peggy Sue Got Married, Raising Arizona, Moonstruck. I think that's when Nick Cage really became somebody that you know of. But this is probably the last film before that, which I don't know what to say about this film, Stu, because it felt like such a nothing burger. It felt like such a TV movie of, we've got the rights to this guy's life, we better do something with it. Because there was nothing really of interest about this film.
Well, I've said it before about certain films that they deserve to be watched on a Sunday afternoon. I literally watched this on a Sunday afternoon, and it felt right. It felt pure and heartful. Again, like watching Where the Heart Is on a Sunday night, but it wasn't good.
No.
I mean, it was amazing. Looking at, I watched all the credits just in case. I mean, I don't know what I'm thinking of.
Guess there's a post-credit scene. Thanos.
Yeah, in a 1980s Canadian TV made for TV movie about a guy who no one's ever heard of in their entire life. But actually, fair play to the guy. I mean, he achieved quite a lot.
Yeah.
And looking into him afterwards, I went down the wormhole, the Ned Hanlon, and wow, fair enough. You doff your Victorian cap to him, because I mean, how accurate this film is seems remarkably accurate looking at the info that we can find of the guy, and he's got the part in as well. And I thought he looked really, considering he did all this himself, and it's no stunt double or face mask or anything like that because it's the 80s. Fair play to him, because I mean, have you ever done rowing like this?
Not on water. Like, I've used a rowing machine at the gym. Never done it like properly on water.
It's
And
fucking hard.
yeah, it takes it out of you. Like, it proper saps your energy, doesn't it?
We used to do it. We did it with school, like towers and stuff. And I've done and the many yearly excursions to Whippy. We've gone out on the sea and the boats and everything.
Yeah.
Because you just hire them and you go and fish and whatever. It's hard work, and I've many times where I've been to the Nottingham Rowing Club before playing Forest away, and you look at the people, the guys walking in there, and they're proper ripped and everything. You think you just row it around on the Trent. How can you be like this? And to be fair, you can, because he takes it out of you. And for him to do this, and obviously he's younger and he's in better shape and everything, but again, fair fucks for him to actually get involved and doing it properly, because it's tough to do. And I thought that part of it, all the stuff with him in the boat, him completely participating in it all, was actually really good. And obviously we're not scullers. I mean, you look at us, so you could probably call us that. And competitive rowing is a different beast to just rowing, using a few oars now and again, but it's hard work. And he was doing that as well as acting, as well as carrying off the role of this kind of cad, I guess you'd say at the time. And I thought that he was actually really good in it.
He was like, don't get me wrong, he didn't call for a fucking Oscar-worthy performance, but it called for someone who was a bit of a cheeky chappy who could do what Ned Hanlon did, and he got himself into excellent shape. I remember we watched like Birdies, the film before this. I know that's a film we didn't like, but I remember in that film he was ripped to shit. So he's obviously done that and maintained it for, at least a couple of years whilst doing this film. So look, I feel like at this point, Cage was a body guy at this point. Yeah, like he was Matthew McConaughey before Matthew McConaughey.
The whole thing about the uncle and the woman and the guy, his person of interest, and how you can't marry him and all that stuff. But that's a bit much. The whole thing where he said, "Oh, you haven't changed. You still don't bathe," and then he just takes his shirt off and throws it at him. What's that supposed to mean?
Yeah. There was that weird sex scene that made me laugh as well. That just felt really out of place, like where they were fooling around at the top of a barn. And I was just like, this feels so weird, and I don't quite understand why you've brought this bit in. But there were a couple of moments that did raise a titter. It's not one you're going to be watching again, though, is it? Let's be honest.
No, I mean there was a few titters raised. There was some classic 80s breasts on the show as well.
Yeah. I like the fact that on the IMDb trivia, one of the entries is Melanie Anderson's first nude scene. Like, is she a famous nude person? Because I've never heard of her before.
No.
So yeah, I did like that. She was in Flash Gordon, so I wonder if that's I haven't seen that for such a long time in bed. Can't even remember it.
Gordon's.
I don't really have a lot to say about this film because I don't feel like there was really a lot going on in it. It was just a very straightforward story of a guy who was a bit of a bounder and a cad, and it caught up with him before he kind of proved everybody wrong. Like, it hit all of the tropes that you expect of a sports film.
Yeah. I think that's the problem with it, that we've now seen it all over and over and over again.
And done better.
Yeah. And I mean, it's obvious to recommend other sports films at this point, but you're talking about something that's pretty obscure, that no one knows about, that's made for Canadian TV. And yet he's still the best thing in this film by an absolute mile. He's gone above and beyond. And that's probably the only reason why it's as rated as it is, because otherwise it's like, okay, it's just a thing that you've seen.
Yeah. Very, very much so. Again, like we've said it quite a few times, that it's one for the Cage completionists and nobody else.
Yeah.
Because like there's not really anything here to be recommending it for. I mean, who gives a shit about the most famous sculler? That if you don't live in Cambridge or Oxford, probably nobody. Like there's not really a fat lot going on here, I don't think. Did you enjoy the film though, Stu?
I think in the context of watching it on a Sunday afternoon where I literally had nothing else to do, and I was sitting around waiting for the Grand Prix to start, which was then delayed for an hour and 20 minutes because of a bit of rain. Um,
What a sport that is, fucking hell.
yeah, but they had wet tires, which were not covered up and warmed because they can't be warmed because they're wet tires, which were then not allowed to be worn because it was too wet.
Ridiculous.
So they had to send the doctor car around to go and get some water away to make sure that it was okay for the safety car to then go out and drive them around 2 laps before then they could get racing. Game gone. Game's gone.
Unreal.
But yeah, it was fine. It was fine for what it was. I didn't hate it at all. I wasn't checking my phone or anything like that. I was just kind of just lounging on the sofa, just watching it, and it was just kind of washing over me. It was all right.
Yeah, exactly the same for me, to be honest. Like, it was just a film that we watched. Some better, some worse, but as far as Canadian straight-to-TV movies go, this was one of them, I guess. Like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
it's fine. Straight down the middle, did what it needed to do. It's not the best thing you'll ever see, but it's also not the worst either. So, yeah. Cage good, Cage bad. It's good for me. You said, like, he's the best thing in this film, and
Yeah.
that's exactly right for me. So, yeah.
Yeah, he gave way more than he had to, really. Considering the project that it was and the task at hand, he went above and beyond. And he was, I mean, even the bits where he's got that go with the very impressively shit Tash, his little friend who gives him the wrench at the end. Even when he's with him, you think, oh yeah, a bit of banter, and then that whole thing, the setup where they're coming and okay then, like, I'll come and fight again.
Yeah.
But even that, it was funny. So yeah, he was good in this.
Yeah. Yeah, completely right. That's it. If you enjoyed The Boy in Blue, you may also like what you got.
I mean, Little House on the Prairie. I mean, obscure sports films, Dodgeball, Big Lebowski, something like that. He could even go basketball if you want.
What a movie.
Yeah, a sports film by numbers, but funnier ones done better.
I thought Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
Like, it's a sort of obscure-ish sport, and it's a bit funny, it's a bit heartfelt, does the job. Yeah, Cool Runnings was my choice, but I think we were on the same wavelength that it was gonna be a film about an obscure sport.
Sanka, you're dead.
No, what a film.
Ice.
Right, Stu, so we have now completed Nick in the 1980s. So there are 15 films. I think we need to rank them. Now, we were talking before the podcast, did we do what we think is Nick Cage's best performances? Are these the best films? Is this just what we enjoyed? And like, it's probably a bit of all of them, really. So we'll go through them. We'll say where we sort of put them, and then we'll come to some sort of consensus at the end. So the way I've done it is, because there's 15, I've split it up into 3 blocks. So I've got like a good, middle, and bad when it comes to the film. So let's just start at the start and see where we go. So the first thing that he did was the TV movie, The Best of Times, which, like, it was basically a skit show, wasn't it? It was a actor pilot for a TV show about groovy, funky kids in the 1980s and who were worried about nuclear war and stuff like that. It was bizarre. But it was the first time we got to see Nick Cage, and also Crispin Glover was in it. It was kind of cool to see these two people who went on to have different but still sizable careers in the industry, starting out in this. If that had taken off, I kind of wonder where we would have been with Cage. Like, it would have been a very different path, I think.
Yeah, because then you get pigeonholed into being a TV actor, like Streak.
Yeah. Yes, that's an issue, isn't it? I think that he managed to avoid with this one. For me, I've got it in the bottom tier. I don't know specifically whereabouts it'll fit, but it wasn't good, and you can see why it never went any further than that one particular episode.
Yeah, exactly the same for me. It's in the bottom. It was 14th. So
That's fair. I think I've got it written 15th, but I haven't properly thought about it. It was just that was just the first one that came to mind as being bottom. So I'm quite happy to agree with a 14th on that one. But we'll okay. The next thing that he did was Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And again, this was very much a blink and you'll miss it kind of role. He played Brad's bud, and it was a case of he stood with his back to the camera and then just turned around at one point whilst his friend was talking. His role in this was minuscule, but obviously he's a Coppola, so he gets to do these kind of things early doors. I remember really enjoying this film. And I can see why people of a certain age, this would be their American Pie. And I feel like with Phoebe Cates, it would be many persons' sexual awakening if they were of a similar age to we would have been during Elizabeth Shannon or Shannon Elizabeth even in American Pie. I feel like it would have made a real impact had we have seen it if we were 16, 20 years earlier.
Yeah. I really like this. I like this as much as St. Elmo's Fire. Both of them are excellent. Obviously, he's not in that film, but they're almost like spiritual, like cousins to each other.
I'd see that completely. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this film. This was in my top 5.
Yes, same here. Same here. Lovely. After that was The Outsiders in a literal blink and you'll miss it role because I have no idea who he plays. And like, even when I've Googled it, no one seems to be sure. Like, he could be this person, he could be that person. But again, it's Coppola, so he gets away with it. It was an all right film from what I remember seeing about it. It was nothing that I feel was going to make an impact. I remember talking about it at the time and us saying that it's very Americana. And I feel like it probably has more of a legacy in the US than it would here. And like they have made it into a Broadway play this last season. But for me, it was good, but it wasn't great. So I'm kind of pitching it middle.
Yeah. Standard. I had 8, 9. It was. It's really weird because I spent 5 days, not 6 days, in Orlando, and I kind of watching Good Morning America and watching all the kind of the silliness and a lot of stuff that we watch anyway because of NFL Network and whatever and through means. But watching it there and being around people, you kind of get a lot of this, or like within even just that short period of time, not even a week, and like a lot of things made more sense.
Yeah,
just driving through Orlando itself, like on the freeway, and you got like the Kia Center where the Magic play, and then you got the downtown Orlando over there, and it's all crazy and all lit up, and then you just go off, and then there's just things from like what's inevitably going to be GTA 6 next year. And you think, yeah, okay, I kind of understand this a bit more now than I did. And white picket fences and all that stuff is what the Outsiders, not Outlanders, Outsiders was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I get that.
So not for us, but he wasn't terrible.
Yeah, absolutely. This one might be divisive. So this is a starring role, because obviously at this point he's done walk-ons and whatnot. But Valley Girl really was Nick Cage's first one as a leading man, in that he was in the vast majority of the film. And I know you enjoyed it, and I didn't really. But I think if you're going to be a young heartthrob, he'd have been like 20, I think, maybe 21 when he did that film. I don't think that's a bad film for him to start in, to get his SAG card or whatever it would have been. It's a good place to start for him.
Yeah. Second best film of the 80s. I genuinely love Valley Girl so much, and I have watched it again because I thought, am I actually insane?
Yeah.
Like, do I?
Oh, he's gone offline. He's dropped his laptop. I don't know what's happened here.
Well, I've got no screen there.
I don't know. Like, I heard a clang and everything went black, and you vanished, and now you're back, but I can't see you.
Hang on. How do we even fix this?
Right. Let me stop it.
Yeah, say it and then you keep it on. The Valley.
All right, we're back. I don't know what the fuck happened there. It's weird with Stu, but he's back and I can see him once again. Stu, we were midway through chatting Valley Girl.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
What?
I watched it again just to make sure I wasn't completely insane, and I genuinely love that film.
Mm.
I'm still not watching the remake. There's no point. Nothing can improve on it. But there's just something about it. I just really, really enjoy it. And out of all of them, I thought, oh yeah, it was a bit of a running joke to start with, and then I kind of got this affinity for it. And even though there's another one that could be number 2, which is I'm guessing will be yours. This was always the second best thing that he did in the 80s for me.
Okay. We'll thrash that out when we get to it, because I've got it like top of the mid tier, because there's like fun elements to it, but I don't think it's that great. But we'll talk about that when we get there. Rumblefish, that was a film I really, really enjoyed, and I enjoyed it on a sort of a filmy level as well as a like the story level as well. I thought was both really good. There's some really interesting tricks that they pulled out in a film that's older than I am, like the stuff with showing the fish, the goldfish that were there whilst everything else was black and white. And red.
Yeah.
You had these. I think some really clever parts of it. And like I know Francis Ford Coppola's gone on to be a bit of a caricature of himself, but I think this was the time where Francis Ford really made his name during this 80s period. This is where he became able to do something like Megalopolis in his later years. He's done all this work at this point that he can now go and do this mental shit. And like this is him doing the good work for me. So like I've got this in the top tier. I've got it in my top 3 actually, this one. I thought it was a very good film.
I've got it in the top of the second lot, so 6.
Oh.
But yeah, again, we both enjoyed it at the time. It was very experimental in the way they did things. I mean, regardless of that, it was just a really, really good film, and it was on a par with The Warriors, and it never gets talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is cracking cast as well. Like Matt Dillon's in it, Mickey Rourke, Diane Lane. Three people who went on to have tremendous careers in Hollywood. Dennis Hopper as well was playing the father. And you are right. Like I maybe it's big in the US and we aren't there, so we don't know. But it feels like this probably should have had more of a life than it appears to have done.
Yeah.
Same would go for me with the next one, Racing with the Moon, which we spoke about. Was it 2-3 weeks back?
Yeah.
An unexpected hit for me, this film. I didn't expect to. I remember saying at the time, I thought Cotton Club was going to be the one I liked, and this was going to be the one I didn't. And it ended up being completely the other way around. I really enjoyed this film. I think it's another good film that probably goes pretty much unknown, I think.
Yeah, completely agree. It was shocking how this was something that no one has heard of here. And yet it was almost impossible to find as well.
Yeah.
Which made it even worse. And you think, okay, it can't be that good then. And yet it was one of the best films that we've seen for a long, long time. And it was I think, did I have it as 4? Yeah, I had it as 4. So
I've got it like bottom of the good, top of the middle part for me. So like, similar sort of area.
Yeah, same around Rumblefish, similar kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see.
Maybe there's things like when you talk about that, like things that are massive over there. Have you ever heard of a film called Johnny Dangerously?
No, not a clue. Never even heard of it. No.
So without looking, because they were quoting it again. Blake's dad and uncle were quoting it on the way there, on the way to wherever we were going that week. And I was like, I've never heard of this before. I thought, is this another one where it's been like bastardized and it's something else here?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I'm thinking, is this Johnny English? But
yeah.
for the Americans, yeah.
So no, it's starring Michael Keaton
Okay.
in 1984. So set in the 1930s, an honest, good-hearted man is forced to turn to a life of crime to finance his neurotic mother's skyrocketing medical bills. So it's parody comedy crime.
Okay.
Joe Piscopo,
Okay, yeah.
Peter Boyle, Griffin
Mhm.
Dunn, Danny DeVito, Ron Carey, Scott Thompson. There's people in this who you know who they are.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, it's a 6.5 on IMDb. Just never even heard of it.
No.
1984.
Amazing. Johnny Dangerous. Like, I'm writing that down. Or misspelling it as I'm writing it, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, these things, like, I don't understand how they don't translate, especially because, like, we're so heavily reliant on Hollywood to provide us with 90% of what we get to see when it comes to films. So it's always amazing when there's stuff that just doesn't translate.
Yes.
Mm. 1984, also the same year, was also The Cotton Club.
Shit.
It was boring, wasn't it? I thought Cage was good in it, and Cage was the most interesting part of the film, but that meant the film was shit because Cage wasn't the focal point of the movie. Like, he was off doing his stuff, but it was on the periphery of the main story. That just made me not care about Richard Gere.
Bottom 5. Easy. Not even a question.
Yeah, same, same. I just really disappointed with that one. The other one, the next one up, it's also 84 as well. This one is this is his best rated film on IMDb in the 80s. No, there's 2 other films, sorry, that are on similar footing. So it's got a 7.2 on IMDb, and it's Birdie.
How?
I don't get it. I do not get it. So we'll get to Moonstruck, but Moonstruck's also 7.2. Raising Arizona is 7.3. So those are the other 2 films in the 80s. And both of those are infinitely better than Birdie. I don't understand, is this an America thing?
Mm. It's gotta be. I don't
Like,
wanna
it's nothing for us. There's no, I don't know, there's no recognition watching this film of what these people are going through in it, and it just falls completely flat.
yeah, I mean, we wasn't bored either, it was just baffled by the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we were, weren't we? Really a bizarre movie, and, like, it's got Matthew Modine and Nick Cage, and it's decent. Soundtrack by Peter Gabriel, again, decent, but I couldn't give less of a shit about a film. This is genuinely one of his worst, but it's got one of the best ratings of any of his movies. And the fact that it was made by Alan Parker, London's own Alan Parker, I don't get it. I don't say he just made no impact on any level to me as a viewer. There was there's no emotional response, and there was no artistic response to this. It did nothing.
No,
Nothing at all.
exactly the same.
Yeah, terrible, terrible film. The Boy in Blue, I've also got this in my bottom 5. Just because there was just nothing to it.
Yeah.
I could probably make an argument for being mid-tier, but there are worse films that we saw that I enjoyed more.
I've got it tentatively, I had it as 9, so bottom of middle, top of
Mm.
bottom, which is probably fair.
Yeah, but I think so. We'll get to like Vampire's Kiss shortly. Terrible film. I enjoyed it more,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah,
Vampire's Kiss is higher than this.
yeah, unquestionably. Next up, Peggy Sue Got Married. I was a little bit disappointed before I'd hyped it up, but it wasn't a bad film. It's still in the middle tier for me. It was absolutely fine. I think it was one of these ones that has got a bit of a cult status to it that it didn't quite hit.
Yeah, 7, 7th out of the listing for me. So kind of smack bang middle of the road.
Mm.
To what maybe slightly towards the top of the mid tier. But it wasn't the way people talk about it. It's like, oh yeah, it's like Pulp Fiction. But no, it's not really.
No, it's an absolutely fine, mostly enjoyable film. Yeah, yeah. This is probably the point where he's gonna start to become the star. Like, if you look at the films up until this point, we've got him being like part of an ensemble. We've got him being background acting. We've got him, like heartthrob Nick Cage, and then we're starting to get some more of the. This is a Nick Cage film, I think, at this point. I don't know if this is the film where he really cut his teeth, because he was just okay.
Hmm.
The next one, though, the next one's the one, and it's number one by a mile. Like, I don't think anything comes close to Raising Arizona.
No.
And like, when we do the other decades, like, this is gonna be up there in terms of the best that he's ever done, I think.
Yeah, it was delightful. You can see why it's always the top of people when you say Nick Cage, that the usual Con Air, Face Off, The Rock, Raising Arizona is always in there. And then you throw Pig and Joe for me. Spoilers again for a few months' time. But yeah, that's Raising Arizona is the best thing he did in the 80s by an absolute mile.
Yeah. That's got cult status, and it's got sort of like critical consensus status as well, hasn't it? Like, it's got both, which I think is what you really want. And yeah, it's a tremendous movie. And like, as a fan of the Coen brothers as well, it's a very good representation of their work. So it ticks all the boxes. Like, yeah, it's almost like this should be number one, and then there's a big gap, and then 2, 3, and then we carry on with the rest, because it's just such a good movie.
Yeah, and you get the crazy Cage quite a bit, but he's actually really good in it as well. And it's not just a parody.
He's crazy for a purpose, isn't he?
Yeah.
The next one, I think, almost falls into the Peggy Sue for me. Moonstruck, probably, maybe it's just a time and a place thing, because I remember hearing people talk about Moonstruck in the 90s, talking about it being this great Cher performance, because I think she was obviously hot shit back then. So I remember people loving that, and having now watched it very much 30 plus years later, didn't hit the same. And that's not to say it's a bad film, but again, this falls bottom of the good, top of the mid, around that area.
I had worse than that. I had bottom of the mid.
Okay.
I just didn't like it. It was boring.
I liked Cage's performance.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing about it was, yeah. When I think of it, that was all right. Because there are a couple of shitters left at this point. Next one being Never on Tuesday. No, I know he has like 30 seconds where he rocks up, does that really strange laugh, and then fucks off. But that wasn't a good film. It was a weird film that made very little sense. I mean, I could probably make an argument for that being the worst film of the bunch, but yeah, I've got that, like, I enjoyed it more than Birdie and Best Times, but it was just so bad. Like, it was so bad it's good scale. Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was my worst one. Even though we did have a good laugh watching that, though, because it is so stupid. And everything about it's stupid, not just his little 10-second cameo either. And it's more memorable than probably a third of the films on this list. That probably doesn't deserve it, but you can't recommend it to people because it's so awful.
God, no. I'd think you had lost your fucking mind if you recommended that film to them.
The fact that it's still on YouTube for free.
That's always a worry, isn't it? Vampire's Kiss.
Third.
It's awful. Like, it's not a well-made film at all. But it's the birth of Crazy Cage, isn't it? It's the proper, I don't know why he's doing this, but I don't want him to stop. I loved it. And on the occasion that I listen back to an old episode of ours, that's one of my favourites. Like, it's weirdly up there with Money Claying as well, which is another one of ours. I love. I don't know why I've got it in the mid tier, but I could quite happily put it in the good tier, just because I did have so much fun watching it and then talking about it.
Yeah, and it's mean to death. You see it every single day.
Yeah,
But if you want to or not, you see the
yeah, you
facts.
do. There's like 4 different memes that regularly appear on Twitter and X and our group chats because of it. Because yeah, it's something special.
The whole thing when he's hiding under the sofa. And out of all of them, out of all 100 and what is it, 111 that we 112 that we watched now?
Yeah,
Vampire's Kiss is one that I remember almost beat for beat, and I've seen it twice.
it's gonna stay with you forever, isn't it? That one. I just think it's just something special. It's mental. But I'm never gonna forget him running around screaming, "I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!" Like, yeah, it's brilliant. It's kind of why this podcast exists. Yeah. Last film of the 80s, Time to Kill, which like I had to read it again because I'd forgotten most of it. It's where he rapes the native woman. Yeah, he's the Italian who has the toothache, and
When he thinks he gets AIDS.
yeah, it's awful. This film was not a good movie. I've got it bottom of the mid, top of the bottom.
Yeah,
But it's only because there's some real stinkers in the bottom tier, which, like, you could probably make an argument that the best of times shouldn't be there, and neither should Never on a Tuesday, because he's in them for all of a minute. But like, yeah, it really was a shit film. This was, and I don't understand how he got roped into doing it, because like there's just nothing about this movie that's watchable.
no.
No.
It was one of them things where you think it's going one place and then it goes somewhere worse, and not in a fun way.
Mm. Yeah. No, hated it. Right, okay, so here we go. So 1, Raising Arizona.
Yep.
I don't think that's in question. At the other end, 15. Are we going best of time? Birdie? What you got? What's your bottom tier? What was the film you liked least?
I mean, I did have. I mean, Birdie's 12, so it's down there. Cotton Club was shit as well, but it depends. If we count in Best of Times, then that's probably got to be down there, because it wasn't good, was it?
No. I've got it as 15th because it was a mess of a film that didn't offer anything. It didn't teach you anything. There's a couple of silly laughs at stuff that wasn't supposed to be funny, but it's not good. It's my 15, but I could probably be talked into putting something else there, to be honest.
No, I don't feel. There's only a few things that I feel quite strongly about. The rest are kind of a much of a muchness, really.
Yeah, that's fair. So we'll go with Best of Times at 15th. Okay. The next one that I've got then, so my 14, I have got Birdie. You've got that at 12. What other films have you got in the bottom?
Never on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Moonstruck and Cotton Club.
I think I could probably get to grips with Never on a Tuesday, because that is a terrible film. As much fun as we had then talking about it after, like there's no question about how bad it was. So yeah, I think that's fair for 14. I think 30. I think Birdie, because I just didn't enjoy it.
No.
Like I definitely had more fun with Moonstruck. I think Moonstruck was a better film. There were some good performances and stuff around that, whereas Birdie it offered me nothing.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So Birdie in at 13. So up to 12 now. Stu, what else have you got in the bottom tier?
Cotton Club.
Yeah. See, I've got Cotton Club and The Boy in Blue left for this bit. I think The Boy in Blue I probably did enjoy more slightly.
Let's have a look. Did you enjoy The Boy in Blue more than Moonstruck?
No, I don't think I did.
No, probably not. No.
I think I'd go with 12. I think I'd go with Cotton Club. 11, The Boy in Blue.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, okay. So then we're into the mid tier. So in 10th place. What have you got in your mid tier then, Stu?
Time to Kill. Somehow.
Yeah. I've got that in 10th as well, actually. So I'm happy to stick that there.
Yeah, Time to Kill, Outsiders, Peggy Sue, and then I had Boy in Blue in there as well. So, if you say, I think Outsiders because it's just forgettable.
So if we go Time to Kill in 10, Outsiders in 9, Moonstruck in 8.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, so Moonstruck in 8, Outsiders in 9. So then 7. Now for 7,
Peggy Sue.
yeah. So I've got like Valley Girl, Peggy Sue, and Vampire's Kiss, but I definitely had more fun with Vampire's Kiss than either of those other two, to be perfectly honest. I think 7, Peggy Sue.
Yeah.
So then we're into the top 6.
Fast.
So what have we got left? So we've got Racing with the Moon, Rumblefish, Fast Times, Moonstruck's there, Valley Girl, Vampire's Kiss. I think the others are better films than Vampire's Kiss as much as I enjoyed it. Actually, no, I don't. I think Valley Girl is worse than Vampire's Kiss. 5 and 6, I think, is Vampire's Kiss and Valley Girl. I'll let you choose because I know how much you love.
Valley Girl's got to be in top 5 at least.
Okay, I disagree, but I'll concede on that one. So Valley Girl 5, Vampire's Kiss in 6. So that leaves us with Racing with the Moon, Rumblefish, and Fast Times. I think Racing with the Moon in 4, Rumblefish in 3, Fast Times in 2. I know it's barely in it, but I think Fast Times is a very good film.
Yeah, it's a great film. Yeah. And then obviously Raising Arizona is the best. So yeah, perfect.
Okay, so Fast Times is the second, Rumblefish, and Racing of the Moon. Okay, then, Stu. So 1 to 15 for Nicolas Cage in the 1980s. 1 is Raising Arizona, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Rumblefish, Racing with the Moon, Valley Girl, Vampire's Kiss, Peggy Sue Got Married, Moonstruck, The Outsiders, Time to Kill, The Boy in Blue, The Cotton Club, Birdie, Never on a Tuesday, and then The Best of Times. It's 1 to 15. I think that's pretty. Yeah, that's comprehensive, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that feels remarkably accurate, actually.
Definitely. I'm pleased with that. Excellent. Good God. Right. We've lost a lot of films. So we've done the 90s as well, then, haven't we? So we're going to need to finish off the noughties. The noughties will be interesting because we've got Gone in 60 Seconds, The Family Man, Captain Corelli's Mandolin, Christmas Carol, Wind Talker, Sonny, Adaptation, Matchstick Men, National Treasure, Lord of War, The Weatherman, The Ant Bully, World Trade Center, The Wicker Man, Ghost Rider, Grindhouse is in there. Next, National Treasure 2, Bangkok Dangerous, Knowing, G-Force, Bad Lieutenant, Astro Boy. Like, there are a lot of films in the noughties that we're gonna have to get through.
We haven't done G-Force yet.
We haven't done G-Force yet. let's move that up. Let's do G-Force next then. That'll do.
Yes.
We'll move that up then. Right, okay. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing next. We need to do a music cast as well for next month. So I've got a few bits in the pipeline. So next month I thought we'll do directors month. So we'll try and talk about some directors. I'm not quite sure where we're going to go with it, whether we'll pick a specific director or we'll just talk about a few different directors. I don't know, but we'll be doing G-Force. That'll be the next film. We're gonna have to fit a music cast in, and then we'll preview the fall season, so September through to December. But yeah, G-Force will be the next one up. That's the guinea pig film, isn't it, Stu?
Yes. Yes.
That is the one, isn't it? Right.
I can't wait for this.
Right. He plays Speckles. Right. A specially trained squad of guinea pigs is dispatched to stop a diabolical billionaire from taking over the world. I mean, Will Arnett, Penelope Cruz, Zach Galifianakis. I mean, if you put those people in a film, I'm probably going to give it a chance.
You know what? I've seen it once ever, and it was the same. It was the same kind of comedy as a Lego Movie.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's as good as Lego Movie.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago, but it was funny. I remember laughing hysterically at it. But again, if I'm right or not, who knows?
Interesting. So it's directed by Hoyt Yeatman or Yaitman. I'm not quite sure how he's pronouncing it. It looks like he's mostly known for visual effects because he's only got this, and he directed Asteroid Adventure, which is a short film from 1994. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing that might be something that's on before another Disney film. I'm guessing. But when you look at his visual effects, The Rock, Con Air, Armageddon, The Princess Diaries, what a fucking film that is. Bad Boys for Life, Schmigadoon, I enjoyed that. The Ted TV series. He's done a fair bit on the visual effects side. So if nothing else, I'm expecting this might not look terrible. I don't know. I'm a bit scared it's going to be dry. But that's what we'll do next time out, and I'll try and do something about directors as well. We'll see where we go with that. So it's okay.
I don't think there's actually anything out next week, is there? Because we've watched everything in July already.
It does feel like it. Let me have a look on the Cineworld app, see what's actually coming up for the remainder of these. It does feel like the summer period is done for the non-kiddie films, because now I think are starting to line up the younger stuff, aren't they? For the,
I mean, I can watch the other Pedro film on. We can talk about that.
oh, you know what's out next week, Stu? On the 1st of August, The Naked Gun.
Yeah, I've already booked that Friday. Yeah. Screen 2 though.
22. Oh, that's a unusual one, isn't it? You know what? I might wait until Tuesday, because if they put them out early, but they don't all, then when you get to Tuesday, they've got their full lineup for Friday. So you might find they'll have different screen times and stuff on there.
Oh, okay.
That might be the one. We'll do. God, what's his name? The guy who did the original Naked Gun, Zucker. Okay. I'm gonna have to quickly look at The Naked Gun. David Zucker. He did the Naked Gun films. He did the good scary movies. He did Top Secret, which is a tremendous film. I believe he also did. Is he the one who did Airplane as well?
Yeah.
And Police Squad and stuff like that. Let's talk about those kind of films, those parody movies.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Zucker's work next week, and then the week after we'll do parodies. We'll do The Others, we'll do the shit scary movies, and we'll do Not Another Teen Movie and the other ones in that world. I don't know how we'll work it out, but I think that's what we do. We do David Zucker next week, and then we'll do more parodies after it, where they go wrong most of the time. That's what we'll do. We'll tie it in with a Naked Gun, and then we'll throw in a music cast because you've got another holiday books as well. And then I've got a holiday booked at the end of August, so we'll squeeze something in and
Start
the
spreading
block
the
again.
news.
Yeah. That's it. No, I'm off down to the big smokes. I'm off down to London for the wrestling. That's the end of August for me. Right, okay. So GeForce next week then, and get your Zucker questions in. Get in contact with us at Cage Fighting Pod on the socials or cagefightingpod@gmail.com if you've got any emails that you want to send our way. Make sure you got us on whatever podcatcher that you listen to us on. If you could leave a review, we would love you forever. Stu, would you like to say goodbye for this week?
Champions of Europe, we always sing that. Goodbye.
It's goodbye from me too. And remember, be excellent to each other.